Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well, good morning, top of the morning here in sunny California, post-hurricane, we've had everything, post-earthquake, post-hurricane, but we're doing well. So, sunny California, you listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. That's how we do it around here, straight talk up in here. I have two wonderful co-hosts. The first one is Mr. Keith Swanson. I don't know if he's on yet, but he's the AI man. People have been looking for him. They think he's invisible. They don't think he's real. They think he's a robot. Well, we had money on the table for the first person would catch him and hold him and call me and say, I got Keith. Well, the money went down from a whole lot to zero December 31st. The kitty picked back up in January. And so far, nobody have caught the AI man, Mr. Keith Swanson. My second co-host is a fabulous Shawana Bourne. She's a real estate guru. She buy houses, sell houses. I don't know. She'll be building houses soon. Good morning, Shawana.
Great morning, Dr. Rosie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Okay,
yes.
You survived the earthquake. You survived
the earthquake and the hurricane.
Okay, well, we have something to tell our children about, grandchildren.
I know.
Give us something to talk about when they come over later, sitting around the fireplace. We can talk about these days, right?
Yes, for sure.
Well, go ahead and throw your number out there for people looking for a house, want to buy a house, sell a house, whatever.
Yeah, anybody out there that was looking to purchase a piece of property, sell a piece of property, need questions answered on your current property, need help with whatever it is pertaining to property, call me. My number is 818-996-1883, or you can also call me on my cell phone, which is 310-420-9046. Okay, so give me a call. I'm here to help.
All right, and don't be frightened by the interest, okay? It's going to always be interest, but you need to get a house. You need to get a house.
Yes.
Okay, great. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about 3 things you must do for job opportunities when you have a criminal record. That's hot, you all. That is hot. My guest today, he had having firsthand experience with successful gainful employment post-prison. We want to demystify the fact that you cannot get a job having a felony. You know, most post-prison Black men have given up on job opportunities solely based on what they have heard from others, and even from Black men who have never tried to get a job post-prison. Never tried themselves, but telling you, once you've been in prison, once you have a criminal record, you can't get a job. That's what I call heard it through the grapevine. So we want to demystify some of that myth. And I'm sure, Shawana, you've heard so many people say it's over once you get a criminal record. You're not going to get a job. And I think it's because they don't hear the positivity from those men who have been in the criminal system, who have a job or who have started their own business, who are doing well in life. They don't get to hear those stories. So that's why I'm so impressed with my guest this morning, who's willing to really share and to really talk about that. And I think it's time we have that conversation. What do you think, Shawana?
Oh, I think for sure it's time to have this conversation. Yes.
Yes. So my guest, let me introduce my guest, is Mr. Lorenzo Justice. He's a family person who has successfully landed good paying jobs with a felony. He can help your loved one who has given up and is sitting on the couch. I'm going to say that again. Who has given up, not because they tried. Isn't it strange how people give up without trying? Give up because what they heard somebody else say. A lot of people who are not voting in election because somebody said once you have a felony you can't vote. Isn't it strange how news travel that's not worthy? But anyway, I'm just happy that Mr. Lorenzo's here with us today. Good morning, Mr. Lorenzo Justice. How are you today?
I'm doing good, my queen. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I am so excited that you're joining us today, and I know it's going to help and bless so many people. So let's jump right into it. I'm sure you've heard all the myths that you can't find a job, you can't do this. It's like people just bailing out. And I always say, well, if it's to the point that you know you can't find a job, then are you thinking about how you can create one for yourself? Are you doing that? Oh, well, they ain't going to let you. Okay. So what I want you to do, first of all, give us a little history. Tell us a little about you. Who is Mr. Lorenzo Justice? And then we'll get into you educating people on what they can do. So just tell us about you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Lorenzo Justice. I'm an ex-con. I was incarcerated from 1986 to 1993. I did a sentence of 10 to 25 years. Actually, it was 7 for the robbery, 10 for the gun. The gun specification carried a 3-year max. Upon my release of December 23rd, 1993, the first thing I had to go do was see my parole officer. At that time, they didn't have programs for ex-cons, so basically I had to do my grind on my own. And going through the process, I noticed that a lot of times when I was putting on the application, I had a felony conviction. They wouldn't accept my application. So then what I started doing, if I said, well, if I put no, then in the back run of it, they would kind of like dismiss me from the job. So what I did was I countered that by saying, we'll explain in interview. When you write that in there, the person that's looking over the application might sit back and say, you know what, let me see what this guy is talking about. And once you get in the interview, that's when you put all your cards on the table and you bring up your felony conviction, but you make sure every accolade that you achieve while being locked up and being free, you make sure he hear all that, because when you leave that interview, he gonna forget about that felony conviction. Now he's looking at the character of the individual that wants to come work at this establishment. Now, me having a armed robbery case, not only do I carry a TWIC card, which is TSA clearance, I'm also able to hire hazmat chemicals, meaning I can take chemicals to a Navy base. I can actually take jet fuel to the president. I have a TSA clearance. And the only way you can't get those if you have a murder conviction, espionage, treason, or you did security threat as terrorism. But other than that, with an armed robbery and all that, you can get a well-paying job. But what you have to do is you have to stop trying and you have to start doing. It's a difference. See, whenever they offer free stuff to us, we get there at 6 o'clock in the morning because it's free. But when it's time to go out here and really put your grind in to do what you need to do to get work, to maintain or get on the path to get a career, we don't want to do that. We want everything handed to us. And yeah, it's going to be struggles in the beginning. Yeah, I started off scrubbing toilets and mopping floors. But everybody that I spoke to said, hey, stay on your path. Stay on your path. You ain't going to get it right now, but when it comes, it's going to come. See, a lot of guys come out of prison and think somebody owed them. We don't owe you nothing. Yeah, it's a struggle, but when you start to struggle and you start to see your rewards, you appreciate it more. And all you have to do is just get that information to the next person that struggled like you did. As long as we continue to do that, we become raising a village again and not being individualists. And that's my point on that.
Wow. I think it's so important for you to, just to lay that information out there, because I hope that many parents who have children that have been incarcerated get a chance to listen to this show, because then you can encourage them that, if you get turned down for one job, you can't just stop and say, well, they ain't going to hire me because I have a felony, because I have a criminal record. I don't know about you, Mr. Joseph. Have you heard that conversation from a lot of black men who just say, well, I know they're not going to hire me, so I'm not going to even try? Have you heard that dialogue?
I hear it all the time, and I look at them, and as soon as they say that, the first thing I say is, okay, I'm an ex-con, but I'm hauling gas. So what's your excuse? Mm-hmm. See, you have to want it. Just because somebody tell you no, okay, it's just like a female you may meet out somewhere, and she tell you no, she not interested. Are you gonna stop, or do you really want to pursue her? See, that's the difference. It's like soon as somebody tell us no, then the first thing they talk to somebody who's an associate, not a friend. Oh, well, you can go down there and get GR, or you can go get food stamps. That's the easy route.
Wow.
So now they dictating what you do in life. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to know to differentiate between a friend and associate. See, a friend is a guy that's going to come get you, say, hey, dude, come on, we going to fill out these applications. Associates go come over and say, hey, man, come on, let's go get us some drink and let's smoke on this blunt. Okay, after you smoke the blunt, then what you going to do? Now you don't have money in your pocket to go get your drink and get your blunt if that's what you choose to do. So once you figure out who your friends are and who your associates are, then you will start seeing the difference. Because as long as you surround yourself around positive people that's willing to do things and has things going on and are willing to help, they don't have no problem helping you, because now you're showing them your character as an individual. But if you constantly running late and doing this and doing, don't nobody want to be bothered with that. So you have to present yourself in a way that you've made a change, and not really a change, but you make an adjustment to do better, because you have to pass this on to somebody else. And the only way it's going to get passed on, they have to see the rewards and the benefits that you're doing. So you have a lot of people out here, they quick to make quick money, and they quick to go out and buy like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all that. Well, basically, you're doing free advertisement. See, what you should be doing is when you get that first check, you should be getting an insurance policy on yourself or insurance policy on your kids, or coming down there seeing you like I did and giving a living trust. So the government don't be taking your money that you work for. But they don't see this. We too busy in the cars and wear designer products that it don't benefit us. Because if you ask somebody who's wearing Louis Vuitton, ask Louis what they done for them. Can they go to Louis and get them to help them pay their rent or pay some of their bills? I don't think so. So once we get out of that mentality, then we'll do a whole lot better in life. Because you have to have a plan when you go in, and it don't just be an A plan. You got to have an A, B, and C plan. You got to structure yourself. Because I notice a lot of young kids now, you ask them, okay, well, what are your plan? Oh, I'm going to figure it out. How you going to figure it out and you don't have a plan? It's all right to fail, because the only way you can succeed is by failing.
Wow.
And that's the point on that.
I love that. And what you said is so key, that once you come out, before you went in, look at who you had aligned yourself with, and look where it landed you. So you can't come out aligning yourself with the same people who helped you to get incarcerated in the first place. So I say to people, you need to move from the you can't club and join the you can club. Because people who are doing something, they will never tell you that you can't. You ever thought about that? It's the people who are not doing anything who will tell you, oh, you can't do that. You can't do it. But the people who are part of the you can, they go, come on, man, you can do it. Come on, pick yourself up. It's interesting. When my daughter was in high school, she was getting ready to go to college, and she was telling her friend's mother, well, I'm going to college. I want to be a doctor. You can't be no doctor because you're too sensitive. Her counselor at school was telling her, too, that's a lot of years. You're not going to be able to do that. So you know what I had to say to her? Has your counselor ever been to medical school? Then she can't tell you how hard it is. Is your friend's mother go to medical school? Talk to my friends who are physicians, who are doctors already. These are the people that you need to talk to about your goals, not people who don't have any. So I think that's what happened with people in the street. They're talking to the wrong person. Man, ain't nobody going to hire you. You can't vote. You got a felony. In other words, to make you think that life is over for you. So some people pursue just like you did, and you're doing well. And others, when they keep running into brick walls, what do they say? Well, look, hey, I'm going to start my own business. I know a lot of ex-cons who have their own business, who are doing well. So I'm just happy to do this show today because I want somebody to encourage somebody to get up off the couch, because we have someone live and in color telling you that it can be done. Let me give the telephone number out for people who may want to talk to us and talk to Mr. Justice. The phone number here is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. Or you can email us here if you're at work and don't want anybody to know what you're saying. I got it. I understand. Then you can email your question or comment to Innerlight, that's INNER, Innerlight Radio at yahoo.com. Ms. Shawana, what's your take on what's been said?
Well, I'm listening to it, and yes, I do. I totally agree. Who you hang around really matters, and a lot of times the reason why you got in trouble is because you hung around the wrong person. So I love the fact that he has really understood that it's important, and he's sharing it with other people, because we get caught up, and we don't need to get caught up, especially. Some people may look at when you're doing things that are wrong, that, okay, I made a fast money. And it's not always about fast money. It's about taking care of things properly. You can make money properly by really making a decision, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'm not going to get caught up with people that aren't for me. And you yourself, if you're the person that's making other people like that too, you have to think about it. You have to say, you know what, I don't need to do this because this is not for me. A lot of people think that the fast money is a lot of money, but when you break it down, and I'm going to break it down right now while I'm speaking, when you break it down, let's say you made $100,000. You may think that, oh God, I made $100,000, but $100,000 is nothing. When you say that you get 20 years, that's $5,000 a year. Is that something now? No, it's not. And there's a way to make real money. So I really like the fact that he knows that there's a way to make the real money. He's sharing it with people. He's telling people, listen, if you're going around people that wants to hang out in the street, don't hang out in the street with them. Do something different. Don't hang out, because the hanging out can happen later after you take care of your business. So I totally agree with him. I love the fact that he's talking about this. I actually meet with people, from jail that just got out of jail, and teach them, my visualization thing, because I also do visualization workshops where I teach people how to think bigger than what we need to think, dream big and then bigger and then beyond that. So I love the fact that he's talking about this and sharing, because sometimes it's a hard thing to talk about, but you have to be open in order to help others, because it's not worth going to jail. It definitely isn't. There's an easier way. We can come together, we can help each other and lift each other as opposed to pulling each other down. So, yes.
And what I like so much about Mr. Justice is the fact that he's not ashamed to share and to talk about to really shed a light on this, because that's how it's going to help other people. And when people, I know sometimes it's just people probably look at you and say, oh man, I remember when. You remember when what? It's not about what I was, it's what I'm doing now. So do we live in who we are today? But the other question I want to ask you, and call us, feel free to go ahead and call us. You can email us and give us your comment. We see that you're listening. If you have a comment, please jump in. But I want to ask you, while you were incarcerated, did you have plans about what you were going to do when you got out? That I want to nail it right there, because some people have no plan till they get out and they start thinking, what am I going to do? So let's talk about, did you have in mind, when I get out of here, this is what I'm going to do? And I also want to know the person who I would say inspired you the most to make a change in your life.
Okay, when I went in, you have to realize I was at the age of 22, young and wild, and I was still gangbanging, so it didn't matter to me. And I remember I kept going to the hole, and I remember this Muslim brother, kept pulling up on me, talking to me, and I shun him off. So one day when I'm walking the yard, he happened to walk up to me and he's like, hey, man, brother, I need to talk to you. I'm like, man, go ahead on, dude, because I'm looking at the time I got to do. So one day when I was in the child hall, he came down and sat at the table. And I said, hey, man, what's the problem? He said, look, brother, he said, the only reason I'm reaching out to you is because I hear music.
Go ahead.
He said, the only reason I'm reaching out to you, he said, because I see yourself in me. He said, when I was locked up around your age, a Muslim guy or older convict was trying to teach me and show me the right way, and I kept shunning him off. He said, now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in here. He said, I'm going to die in here. He said, I have no way out. I'm going to be in here the rest of my life because I didn't listen.
Wow.
And I looked at him, and I'm like, so I went back to my cell. I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about what he said. So one day we getting ready to go to the yard, and the CO said something real slick out his mouth. And I kind of like looked at him, but the Muslim dude was standing right there, and I walked away, right? This probably maybe a couple of months down the line, and I walked away. And he saw me in the gym, and he walked over to me. He said, I just want you to know I saw what happened, and I saw your response. He said, I'm proud of what you did. He said, because you showed that white man that you had the power because you didn't react to what he said to you. He said, I believe in you, dude, and you're going to make it out there. He said, because I see the growth already. I see it.
Wow.
And from that point on, during my next 3 years I had left, I focused in on what my plan was. And my first and foremost plan was to never come back to the penitentiary, because when you look at the penitentiary, you actually in a slave environment, because they tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, who can come see you, who can't come see you, when you go to chow, when you go to shower, when you go to bed. They telling you everything to do. The only thing we wasn't doing was picking cotton, but we was working for less wages. I was getting, if you work for the system, you get $17 a month.
Right.
You hear me? If you worked in the field where they did the steel, they was probably getting $30 a month. But now you got these dudes coming home, and they feel like a job making $10, $15 an hour is beneath them. Come on, dude, look where you come from.
Right. I agree. And you know what else I see, too, in the system, and what I don't really like? First of all, the system is owned by private individuals, a lot of them, and they want you in there because they want you to do that work for cheap. So they want you in the system. Business. They get paid per head that they get in there, and they want you in there. But the one thing that is a complete visual is seeing every single day on the back of your back, inmate. You know, to see the word inmate, it's like you're visualizing, you're seeing it, and that's why I believe that a lot of people go back, because they visualize that all the time, and that's what they see. And so we have to change that visualization to what is it that we want to see. We're going to have to put a new word up in front of us. If you ever been there, you have to put a new word in front of you of what you want to see, because that word was put in your head for however long that you were in there, for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, however long you were in there. You still saw that one word, inmate. Was it inmate? Is that what it's on the back?
Ours, we didn't have inmate. We had MCI on the back of ours.
Okay, so that
we had MCI.
But you know what's good is
excuse me. But you have to realize too. See, a lot of dudes think because they go to the pen and they in there with their homies, it's cool. One thing in life that we can never get back, and that's time.
That's the time, yes.
So when you in there, you need to take advantage of everything or every opportunity. If you can go to school, go to school.
Go to school.
If you working with computers or you doing business law, like me, I took up culinary arts. So I was going to school, and along with that, I also was able to take up business law and business management. You know what I'm saying? So I took advantage of what was presented to me, you know. Now, when I came home, did I struggle? Yeah, I did. Did I do some things that I shouldn't have did? Yes, I did. I'm going to tell you a story about me. I messed around. I was working for this company. They let me go, right? I'm getting unemployment. So the first thing I did was I went out and I veered to the left, which I should have stayed to the right. Went and got me a little sack, and I'm doing my thing. This is what happened to me. This is how loose and complacent that I got. I'm going down La Brea, and I hit Market. I'm sitting right there at the light. I got bags of weed all bagged up in the passenger seat. I'm in my car. I'm going to the house. On the right side of me, the Inglewood police pull up on me. They right there. They look at me, and I look at them, and I nod. And I look down, and I said, if you can just get me to the house, I'm done with this. I don't know if they got a call or what, but they made a right turn. I went to the house, gave my homegirl the thing. I said, hey, look, I'm done with this. One of my homeboys called me, said, look, I got a program over here in Inglewood called One Stop. The way you qualified, if you've been incarcerated or if you've been in a rehab or you receiving unemployment. I went down there, told the lady what I wanted to do. She got me in the program. It was about $5,300 at the time. I became a truck. I already knew how to drive trucks, but I also learned with them heavy equipment operator. I took a 15-week course, and I ain't looked back since.
Wow. That is so positive. Because, you know, when I think about, I was talking to my son a few days ago, and he was saying to me when he was younger, you know, stuff that they would do. But he said, Mom, I knew one thing, that I was not going to do anything that land me in jail and not be here to raise my son. And he says, that's what I wish more of the young men would think about, the time they lose when they get out, your child is grown or your child is in the system or with Big Mama or with a mother who may not even be fit to raise the child, but that's who he's with because you're in jail. He said that was my motivation as to how far I could go and how far I would go, because I was determined not to be away from my son because I'm incarcerated. And I think these are some things that we really need to get over to these men out here understanding. We have a generation of loose kids because of incarceration. You know, or you got kids that's bitter because you are away. They in a foster home where they're not being treated well, and then they become misfits and damaged goods for society. So I think Lorenzo, if you can help get that message across, do it for your kids. You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it in the long run. So I am so proud of you having a job, taking care of your business, making sure you get a living trust done, that if something happens to you, you know, your property not in probate. I am so proud of you, and I see you as a poster boy, poster man to help reel some of these other brothers in to be responsible. So you got caught up in the system. While you're there, I think the message needs to go out, Lorenzo, is why in the meantime, while you're there, start planning. Don't wait to get out. What do you want to do? Now, do they still offer, years ago they had all types of programs. So now I think they put the programs in for the people who come around to see what they're doing and put the computer back when they leave. How much training diversified that you can get while incarceration?
Well, see, I actually did my time in another state. So actually the schools that was there was Marion College, Hocking Technical College, and OSU. As far as the California system, I'm really not familiar with that because I didn't do my time in California. But you also have to take into account that when a lot of these young dudes get up in these prison systems, they got to go in and rep their people. You know what I'm saying? Because they being pressured to do certain things that they probably don't want to do. And then when you in that environment, you really in a catch-22. But see, this is where you get to see the friends and associates, because somebody that's really looking at you and saying, you know what, you really shouldn't be here. See, that person's supposed to pull you off to the side and say, hey, you need to go see a counselor, see if you can get transferred out of here, man, because this ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? That's where we have to come in and start being mentors to the younger generation, because the younger generation is lost. And the reason I say that is because when you look at it, when we was going to school back in our days, we was walking 7-8 blocks to school. We knew how to get around. If you watch these kids right now today, when they get in the car and their parents is driving them to school, they on the laptops, they on their phone, they don't know where they're going. Back in the day, you had to know your mama's number, your grandmother's number, your auntie number, her job number, the neighbor's number. You know what I'm saying? Now you just push your phone and it just pops up. See, we was using our brains back then. Yeah. We was outside playing all the time and being interactive with everybody. You got the kids in here, all they know is computers. That's it. They don't even really, they can't even really sign their names right.
You preaching now. That's
see what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
This is where we are now. I was going out to Rialto one night. Now listen to this. I seen some Asian people at a Chevron. I'm filling up my vehicle. I see the car jacked up. I walked over there and looked to see what they was doing. It was 4 Asian people, 2 females and 2 males. They got the car jacked up, but they trying to change the tire. How can you change the tire and it's still spinning? You trying to get the lugs off? I said, hey, dude, you got to let the car down. So I go get my gloves. He let the car down. I pop the lugs. I said, jack it up. Pull the tire off. Put the other one back on. The one lady come to me, well, can we go and get? I said, look, I wouldn't suggest that you go out tonight to go get a spare tire. Wait and do it in the morning because you in a bad area. Now, we own Adams, I want to say off of Adams and Vermont, just before the 10 freeway.
Okay.
Now, put this thought in mind. You got 4 Asian people, right? You know they go to SC, correct?
Right.
But they didn't know how to change a tire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it was all said and done, the guy came over to me and he went to hand me $20. I said, no, I don't want that. He said, oh, well, give me a, I gave him a hug. So at the time, a girl said, well, why you didn't take the money? I said, because I look at things different. I said, we already got a bad image on us, and it's from other nationalities. Mm-hmm. I said, but when he's sitting around talking with his people and they say something bad about people of color, he go step up and say, we had a guy that helped us when we had a flat, and he didn't even take no money from us.
Wow, that was positive.
You see how you can change people's thought process
right
about us?
Right. Yeah.
Because we already know we the chosen one, because that's why we hate it so much. You know, everybody is trying to be like us, but at nighttime they want to be us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when that officer pull up, they want to be white or another national. They don't want to be black because they don't know what the outcome is going to be. But we take pride in our heritage, you know.
Well,
we're starting to see now that with this social media, you know, a lot of what our ancestors has invented. You know, I didn't even know the folding chair was invented by a black man.
But that's interesting. Once I was doing a seminar with a group of social workers, and we talked about, I was saying that a black person invented the mop and all this stuff. They go, I didn't know that. I said, well, who else would have thought about it? Who was doing the work? You know, because of what we've been through, have made us be creative and do a whole lots of things. Now, I'm going to backtrack. What I really like about the fact that you're concerned about how people see us as a people. And I wish more people would think about that, because that's why I tell people, when I used to, years ago when I had a job, how you represent makes a difference, because it means a person won't say, well, I never hire another black person. I think we ought to be concerned about what we do, how it impacts the next generation. Now, we're going to go back. I want you to repeat what you said. It's important for those who got on late, how to land, you know, the job opportunity. Even with having a criminal record, folks, you can get a job. Look into the different programs. They have the work source. In fact, they have so many programs for people who have been incarcerated. I had a nephew once said, well, maybe, do I need to go to jail to get some help? You guys, it's a lot of help out here for people who really want to do it. But I guess we have to see the faces of people like Mr. Jefferson letting you know. So can you go back and repeat what you said about when you went to that job and about the application? Let's go back to that.
Okay, so when you go out to do an application, now, me at the time, you have to realize this was 93, 94. You know, I didn't just go to one spot to fill out an application. I was going to several spots to fill out applications. They, on the other hand, have it easy now because they got the application at their fingertips. And when you get to that part where it talks about, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Now, they have two types. They have one that says, have you been convicted of a felony? They have another one, have you been convicted in the last 7 years? So instead of answering yes or no, right in there, we'll explain in interview. Your object, or let me see what word I want to use. Your strategy is to get inside that interview.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure when you get in that interview, you are prepared. You know, you are prepared, because when that question comes up about that conviction, yeah, you go answer that, but you make sure everything that you achieved since you've been home, even if you got married when you came home, even if you had another child when you came home, make sure you put that down as accolades. Because what you want to do is you want to erase what you said in the beginning and bring everything to the forefront what you said in the end. Because when you get in there, they go look at you and they go look at your body language and how you speak. And now you're selling yourself, because you trying to let this person know, I'm the dude that's qualified to do this job. And a lot of your employees now, your workers for companies, a lot of them are ex-cons that are the best workers because they've been without. See, when you've been without, you appreciate life a little bit more. And they have programs. A lot of these companies, they get tax breaks from the federal government when they hire ex-cons.
That's right.
But you got to go out and get it. And when you get it, you got to set the standard. Because this is my thing. When I was doing the gas hauling, they wanted me to be a trainer, right? I would have guys come in and they would be on the phone talking to somebody. Oh, well, I got a black trainer. And once they get off the phone, I'll tell them, like, look, dude, I may be a black trainer, and I'm going to teach you everything that I need you to know, and I'm not going to do no shortcuts. But if I don't feel that you qualified to do this, you best believe I will not pass you. And once you get past this and they allow you to train, or you know people that might want to get into this field, then you make sure you get the right people in here, because we have to build it up to where we are the dominant factor in this. Because at one time, gas hauling was Caucasians.
Mm-hmm.
You may have, at one time, when I was working for this company called WP Tank Lines, do you know I was the only black driver there?
Wow. Let me ask
the only
you this.
black driver there.
Let me ask you this. Is there any preparation for exiting the prison system done? Is that exit strategy when they know someone is going to be released? Is there help? Is there any program in the system? Let's see. We have a 323-295-5519. You need to mute. Thank you. Is there any exit strategy done for inmates?
Well, see, like I said, where I was at, they had this program called the JC program. And when you got within, let's say, 6 months, they will prepare you for society. They will set you up for jobs, interviews, schools, trade schools, whatever you decided you wanted to do. And when you went down to go see the people, what they would do is they'd give you a package of everything you did in the JC program, and you get the job. But you have to realize this is not in California. This was in Ohio where I was at. See, when I got paroled in May, I had to wait another 6 months for my interstate compact to be approved for me to come back to California. So that was 6 months I had to sit in there and be idle. But still, in the due process of that, I was still reaching out to family members and all that, say, hey, I'm on my way home, And actually, I came home, they gave me $200. I had to ride the bus home. I went over to the Kroger's, got me a styrofoam ice chest, got me lunch meat, bread, fruits, candy, and all that, and rode all the way back to California with less than $200 in my pocket. Right now today, my mother took me to the swap meet over in Compton and bought me this fluffy jacket for the winter. Do you know I still have that jacket right now today, and it don't have a glitch in it? Because when I think about that jacket, I think about the time when I wanted to buy it myself and stuck my hand in my pocket and I pulled out lint. I didn't have a dime to my name. And when I look at that jacket, it brings back memory of how far I come. And that's why, like I told you when I came to go see you that day, I said that song by Nipsey Hussle, Grinding All My Life, that fits me perfectly, because that's what I've been doing.
Wow. Let me pause right here. 323-295. Do you have a question or comment? If so, go ahead and chime in.
Yes, I do. First and foremost, Dr. Mulligan, I was referred to you by Lorenzo. I'm a friend, family member of his. Hey, Lorenzo.
Hey, what's up, sister?
I had to chime in because I'm listening, of course, and I'm waiting for my turn. But I wanted to say, I knew Lorenzo then, and I know Lorenzo now. And when I tell you that prison stint did, that was his acid test, and he's passed.
Wow.
And so, for me, I'm just really proud of him. And, like he always says, you have to reach one to teach one. And that's the problem right now. We don't have a lot of black men like him. He's the only man I know that made it off parole in the position as a homeowner. I don't know any other black men who did as much time as Lorenzo has and became the man that he is now. So this is why I'm so proud of him, because he still takes the time, just like he was explaining his trainees. He does that for everybody.
Wow.
I do that as well. We are two people who are trying to give back because our struggles. We've always had to live in survival mode. Therefore, we know how to help other people survive the struggle. So I just wanted to commend him and reach out and say, if we had more men like him to reach one, to teach one, our men would come out of prison, although they were institutionalized. They won't come out still being institutionalized. They'll come out trying to be a productive citizen because they have someone to basically hold their hand, because that's what we need. Because if we go back, the things that we know now, our parents didn't know this back then.
Right.
We always say to one another, if we had us back then to talk to us now,
yes,
we'd probably be running the country. But
wow.
because we don't have that, we didn't have that. There's things that, I had to learn on my own because my mother didn't know,
Right.
And it's sad to say, but it's true because our culture, and to me, it's getting worse. It's like crabs in the bucket.
And plus, we're so closed-mouthed. When we find something, we run and get it and hide it instead of telling everybody like a mentor.
Telling everybody, there's programs out there that, I'm going to get on the phone. If this is like DWP right now, if you go to DWP, log on and go to Best Buy, say I'm a customer and qualify, you get a free air conditioner. All you have to pay is taxes. $19, I walked out the door with a window air conditioner. Really? But nobody knew it. And then when
go back and repeat that now. What do you have to do?
The Department of Water and Power. If you go to departmentofwaterandpower.com and you are a customer and you qualify, which is most people these days, your income, you qualify. It's not hard to qualify to be low income. So if you qualify, go to bestbuy.com, put in your information, pick your air conditioner you want. They got many kinds. I got 3 of them. I paid $19 for one, and then I wanted one for the floor, and for $100, and all I had to pay was the taxes because I wanted a bigger one. So there's information like that no one is sharing. Why not? Back in the day, you could be out and people would say, "Oh, they're giving free food away," or "Oh, you do this." They won't do that no more. Nobody will tell you anything. So
only thing they want to share with you is where you can get some good weed. Okay.
Exactly, and what's the best liquor to buy, and what and who it's crazy. I'm just fed up with the way our community as a race. I live in Lamert Park, and I've been here for going on 21 years, and I've watched one house after another get lost because their parents died, they took over and lost the property.
Well, you know what?
Guess who's moving in?
I know who get it. It's not us. But let me tell you what I think should happen. So hold on, stay on the line. Lorenzo, I think you should really start a nonprofit organization and try to get funding to help people like what you were talking about. You could be a great asset to this community because you would be able to give this kind of information.
You know what I think? I think we should start a non-profit organization because we are going to be a team. Because I would need to get knowledge from you as well as you get knowledge from me. And as long as we come together and work together, we can be together.
I just think it's so important because then you wouldn't have to just always give up your time. We can bring in other people. This dialogue needs to go on. You'd be surprised at your people. And this show is going to go up on YouTube, okay? It's going
I just shared it on Facebook. I didn't know what I was doing, but I shared it on Facebook. I put your phone number. I couldn't put I didn't catch the website, but I need us as a race to come together because my point was, I'm watching my neighbors across the street with their people, and everybody gets together, and everybody's living in the house, and everybody's buying new cars, and then one by one moves and buy the house next door. Why aren't we doing this?
Because we don't have leadership, honey. That's
we don't. Because why?
All our leadership want to talk about is get a job. We need to be talking about starting your own business so you can hire your own kids. We need to hire people from the community. We can't think everybody else going to come here and open up business and hire our people. So I really want Lorenzo to think about that. And let me give you all this information. This show is going to re-air tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can go to innerlightradio.com. You can send your people there at 6 o'clock this evening. This show is going to re-air. It is so critical. And Lorenzo, we definitely going to have you back. And this information has got to get out there. I'm tired of these couch potatoes because they're listening to people who haven't even tried and tell, man, I don't need you going down there. They are paying these people good money at Work Source to help you. They getting good pay. They're getting a job, and you won't show up. So whatever you need to be there. A lot of people are afraid because that's why I have an organization called Black Writers on Tour. We focus on literacy, and we also focus on training for technology. Because a lot of our people, you guys, have a deficiency when it comes to English literacy, reading, and writing.
Exactly.
Because of that, they won't go to these places. So we got to find a way to help them.
Well, I'm watching. I speak to a lot of people, and I've worked in a lot of large call centers where we had a call center once where people.
Oh, you know what? I don't want to cut you off, but we got one other person that I think from 951 that want to chime in. I want you to mute. We're getting a lot of feedback from your phone. Okay, 951-675. Go ahead. We got you. Go ahead.
Good morning. Hello, Dr. Milligan. This is Barbara Smith. I just want to say to Mr. Justice, I love your last name, first of all. But I want to say to you, thank you so very much for this. I've never been, incarcerated or anything, but I want you to know that there are many people that I do know, their sons and daughters. The reason I got on this is to get the information. The information is free. I want to thank you so very much for all that you have done, the struggles that you have went through. I just want to say thank you. And I also want to say to you, you talk about, the system being, enslaved. There are many people that are enslaved, that has never been incarcerated. But I want to say to you, you keep this up. I agree with you. I'd like to include myself into this 5013C.
Oh, good, Barbara.
I also want to ask you, Mr. Lorenzo, if you don't mind, may I get your personal information? I want to talk to you personally, myself. May I get your information from Dr. Milligan?
Yes, and I appreciate everything you said.
And also, I'm going to be having a big function next year, and I would like to put you on the panel as one of our speakers.
Go ahead,
so just keep that in mind. But I just wanted to say thank you for all that you are doing. We really need your help. Really need your help.
That.
And keep up the good work. So that is what I wanted to say.
I appreciate that.
Oh, Barbara, thank you. She's always listening. That's my best friend's sister, and so she's my good friend. That's L.C. Green. You guys know L.C. Green. That's his sister. She always has her finger on the pulse. So you hear, you got people already ready to join your organization. So, Mr. Justice, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it.
Got to do it. I'm here to help.
Okay.
All right, you
All
got
right.
this other person.
So
You got 3 people. You got your board already, okay?
I need a team of people.
yes.
Exactly. So we
You,
have
you
to
thought
do
you were named Justice. You thought you were named Justice by mistake. That was a God-given name. That was your calling, and all those years you did in prison is going to. This is what was all paying off for. This is why you did those years. This is your calling. This is what God put you on earth for. Had you not been those years in prison, you would not be on this phone right now.
absolutely.
No, I sure
Absolutely.
wouldn't.
Absolutely.
That's for
It's
sure.
like, yeah, it's
And
like
your name is Justice for a reason, because there's something that's going to be all around, come all together because of that name.
well, I'm
You are
excited about it. I'm excited
I
about
am
what
too.
you're getting ready
Yeah.
to do. And Mr. Justice, we're coming close to an end. I want you to give us some parting words, and I just want you to go back over one more time for anybody got in late. Tell them what to do when they go for that application, and they need to, while you're incarcerated. Start thinking of what you're going to do when you get out. Start reaching out to people who are outside who may be able, you know what, 323-295, we getting static, and I may have to ask you to hang up and listen because we want a reality show, and I can't have that static coming through.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So I want you to, talk about, you got a plan. Reach out to somebody while you're there. Make some connection. Don't just wait till you get out and standing with $200 in your pocket, nowhere to go and nothing to do and nobody to talk to. And I think we
Exactly.
need to look into justice as to what type of exit program they have here for the system in California. So we need to do that. Is there an exit
Okay.
plan? Do they prepare them? Do they all go to halfway house, or do you just get on bus fare and go on your way? Do you tell them where housing might be? Is there a resource guide about work source and other programs? So we need to look into that, okay?
Okay.
Okay, give us some
Okay.
closing remarks, and I hope you will be open to come back to be with us again.
No, anything for you. I just want to say that I enjoyed the show today, and I hope that the positive information that I gave people out there that were listening, that they're able to relate that information to those that may be in need, those that had doubt, or those that, as you would say, were couch potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to achieve things in life, we got to crawl before we can walk. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to stumble. You will stumble. Trust and believe. But basically, your patience are being tested. And it's up to you to pass that test. And once you see yourself going down the right path, you'll notice that more positive people will become into your inner circle. And when you have that, then you can go out and guide and instruct and teach other individuals that was in your same situation to achieve as you did, or maybe even achieve more. But you got to take that first initiative, and when you behind them walls and you know you on your way to freedom, you got to give yourself a plan. You got to reach out to certain peoples and let them know what your plans are. And the first and foremost plan is, I'm not coming back to the system.
That's it. You have to commit yourself to that.
Exactly.
And what about, did you have to, kind of let some people go along the way? You can't hang with the same people sometimes when you're coming out. Is that true?
Well, see, what you have to do is, like I said, you have to differentiate between friends and associates.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have those like, oh, come on, let's go do this. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Like, I had a homie, he was like, oh, well, man, you don't kick it no more. I'm like, well, dude, I got to go to work. So I said, okay, we'll kick it when I get back. So I go to work. I do my 8 hours. The same guys are still on the same corner doing the same thing, but I didn't already put my time in, so I already know even if I got fired the next day, I still got a check coming.
Exactly.
But they still doing the same thing.
Lorenzo,
So it's like,
hold for a second. I hate to cut you off, but we got another call, I think, that's trying to get through. Let's see, it's holding. It's a 951. Let's take that and we'll come back to you close. Go
okay.
ahead. Someone is holding. 951. 675, go ahead. 951.
Dr.
Maybe
Milligan,
that
I got to get back on mute again. For some
okay.
reason, I've muted myself, but that's me. Sorry.
Okay. Now, here's a big question, Lorenzo. People struggle with, do I tell the truth when I fill out my application about whether I have a record or not? What you going to tell them?
I would tell them in that box right there, don't fill out yes or no. Right in there, we'll explain in interview. That's what I would do. Now, I'm going to bring up something that happened to me last Wednesday. I went downtown for a deposition, and I'm sitting there talking to my lawyer. And he said, well, they go ask you, have you been incarcerated? I said, okay, yeah. He said, oh. He said, well, you can get an expungement, and it don't cost you nothing. I said, well, to me, honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I want people to know that I've been locked up. I said, because where I'm from, a lot of people feel like that ain't a good thing. But I want them to know, and I want them to see what I've achieved in life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been home since '93. And so if they able to see the type of career that I have and what I'm doing in society, then they can do the same thing. They don't that number they got, that's in the past. We're living in the future right now.
Here's what I like that information you gave out. When you get out, I don't care what you've done, build a new track record. That is so important.
Exactly.
You said that. What are your accolades? What have you done? I've been out, I've gotten a GED, I'm married now, or I have a job, or I'm in school now. And one thing, join an organization that you can volunteer. Because I'm a volunteer for whatever, Red Cross, I volunteer for this. Folks, this puts you back in the building again. It's like somebody who haven't worked and you go for a job in 10 years. When the last time I haven't had a job. So you got fired on this job. But what did you do on the other job? Do you have record? Folks, track record, what you're doing present can really outweigh what you did in the past. So a comment is I have in my book, Motivation Quotation and How Come. I said, your today is no reflection of your tomorrow. Your past is no reflection of your future. So you have given out $1 million worth of information, telling them what to put on that application, because they'll put no, and then when the people find it out, then they terminate them. So you guys listen. Those who listen, pass this information to other people. Everybody knows somebody in their family that has been incarcerated. Come on, you know somebody.
And a lot of the warehouses, they have government programs where they get tax breaks for hiring ex-cons or people that's been in rehab. They have those, but you have to go to them in order to get them. You can't just sit around and don't do nothing. You gotta want it. If you don't want it, it's like the movie on Friday. What you think? Job is gonna knock on the door and say, "Hey, I got a job for you." No, you got to go do it.
And see, that's why, Jesse, you're going to be a resource, because a lot of people don't know that. They don't know companies that have these contracts that will hire. If you would ask the average person, what company you know that's ready to hire people who have been convicted, most people can't tell you. You can go to church, you can ask the minister, and the church needs to be a resource center. It needs to be if you need to know how to get medical care, if you need to know how to get insurance, a church should become the resource center, because it used to be the pillar of the community, and that's where Black folk went to get information. Our time is out. We're going to have to jump off. You guys, 6 o'clock p.m. If you didn't get a chance to hear this whole show, send your friends there too. Go to Inner Light, INNER, innerlightradio.com. And the show will be repeated at 6 p.m. Lorenzo, thank you so much. We'll definitely have you back on again, and we need to talk about the nonprofit organization, and I'll give you the website to listen to next week for how to get free money for your nonprofit organization, and that's from 10 to 11 next week. Okay, so give me a call.
10 to 11?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Shawana, thank you very much. And thank you again, Lorenzo. I'm really proud of you, and let's stay in touch.
I need to ask you one question. Is Shawana still on the line?
Shawana, you still there?
I was trying to get the first number that she had, the 818, because I've been looking at a couple of properties that I would like to purchase.
Okay, give me a call when you get off the show.
Okay, no problem.
All right, you guys have a great
All
day.
right. You too.